Do you know the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, that's wrong! You haven't seen true insanity until you boot up your computer, go to Roblox.com, scroll through the pages, search up, and find Survive Freaky Gojo. Roblox, home to such classics as Jailbreak and Adopt Me. Met my ex-wife on Adopt Me. God, those were the days. You know, as a kid, I would always mess around with Roblox Studio, trying to make games I thought were good, emphasis on the thought. But as a man now, I have come to appreciate just the amount of time and effort it takes to truly make a good Roblox game. You gotta be able to animate, code, and most importantly, have good ideas. But sometimes, having good ideas are hard. And that's why you get such classics as Obbies with 150 stages that all look the fucking same. But there is another way to find ideas for the creatively bankrupt, and that's by basing it off of something that already exists, like Pokemon or One Piece. And that's when Jujutsu Kaisen comes into the equation. The manga has sold extremely well, and the anime is somehow probably big. I mean, when season 2 came out, it seemed like everyone even slightly into anime was watching it, and to be honest, I think it deserved the hype. The anime had excellent animation and a pretty solid story with some interesting characters except for Yuta, and in general was just an extremely well done shonen. Now, the ending? Mid! But with popularity and hype comes the 12-year-old fanboys, and what better way to enjoy their favorite IP than playing Roblox spin-off games? So I decided to rank most of the Jujutsu Kaisen Roblox games to help you know if you're playing dog shit when trying to get off to Gojo. First off the bat is the Jujutsu Kaisen fashion games, and they're batting 0 for 52 because these games are bad. The first one wouldn't even let my friend join, so you know, I'll have to create start, and the second one is just terrifying. At least this one works though and has funny emotes, but trying to have fun in this game is like playing kick the can by yourself. Both these games get the Momo tier. They're absolute cheeks, and there's nothing really to talk about them. If you want to play a good fashion game, play like Fashion Famous or something like that. Next up, let's talk about Freaky Gojo. Not Survive Freaky Gojo, but just Freaky Gojo. Now, there's one thing you gotta know about Gojo, is that he can get freaky. And this game, it tries to adapt that. But the thing that this game gets wrong is that there is no Gojo in the game, so automatic deduction of 10 points. The main objective of the game is to find and bring back 5 of these colored orbs, but of course, it's not that simple. These shadow figures roam around, and if you're in the dark, they will strike. However, if you can get to light, you'll be safe. Now, this idea is incredibly basic and honestly, just boring. But the real killer to the game is the map design. It's ass! There are literal sections of just darkness leading to the next light, so you're essentially just dead if an orb spawns there, meaning not only does the game have 0 amounts of Freaky Gojo, but it also has 0 amounts of having fun. Another Momo tier, this shit sucks dry donkey cheeks. Now, for some reason, there's been this phenomenon of RNG games on Roblox, and I just don't understand. These games are the most brain-dead video gaming experience you can have, but I guess it just triggers that dopamine. But, you know, with the popularity of these RNG games, we were bound to get a Jujutsu Kaisen based one, and in this case, we have Jujutsu Kaisen RNG, which is just disgusting. The main gameplay is just clicking the roll button and hopefully getting a good drop. Also, the background music just kind of cuts out like 3 minutes into the game and creates the silence, which only adds to the insanity of this gameplay. The game also has a leaderboard, so you know your boy went and got #1. You know, when life gives you lemons, you make Jujutsu Kaisen RNG a Momo tier. But now let's talk about some better games. Jujutsu Kaisen Battleground games, starting with the big one, Jujutsu Shenanigans. Shenanigans is fun, or at least compared to the dog shit we've been experiencing. You can play as a handful of Jujutsu Kaisen characters, like the Vessel or the Honored One, and the game feels pretty solid to play. It's got some classic Roblox jank, but I think the game does a good job at covering these with overall fun gameplay, and, dare I say it, decent balancing. Each character has 4 main moves, which range from projectiles to unblockables to fucking doors, and most of them are really fun to use. I say most because Megami does indeed exist. But yeah, the movement is decent, the game is fun, and for a Roblox Jujutsu Kaisen game, it earns itself pretty easily the Honored One tier. And the next one on the chopping block is Kaizen. Kaizen is a pretty traditional action RPG. You create your character, you create your build, and you complete quests to level up. The major problem with Kaizen, however, is that it fucking blows. The enemies are boring. The progression is way too stale and repetitive, and it is the most grindy shit ever. And if you ever have to hear me speak on the story, just please send me to a mental asylum. Kaizen is the definition of mid, and there is nothing that stands out here. I couldn't play it for longer than 20 minutes because this shit got me sleeping. But it does have somewhat decent quality, and there is a little bit of funny shit with the character names, so it rises it to a Miwa tier. It's just a little bit better than dog shit. But now it's time. The moment you've all been waiting for. Survive Freaky Gojo! Survive Freaky Gojo can only be described as a surrealist psychological analysis on the themes of isolation and loneliness. Andre Breton, a French writer and nicknamed the father of surrealism, describes surrealism as resolve the previously contradictory conditions of dream and reality into absolute reality, a super reality. This is a very clear tone, omnipresent throughout Survive Freaky Gojo, and you'll see why. Entering the game, the main protagonist, you, misses the bus and is forced to chase it. Already, this shows the flaws of the main protagonist. Laziness. The chase sequence that follows already shows the surreal tone in the game, as you are literally running at the speed of a vehicle, something that's, well, not really physically possible. This also shows that despite the protagonist's carelessness and laziness, he is an incredibly gifted runner and rather physically fit. You finally arrive at the school, where Super Senior Gojo is there to greet you. The dialogue featured here may initially seem ridiculous and stupid, but then remember, Gojo is a super senior. Gojo uses words like Riz and Ohio not because he is dumb or that the writer is just strolling around, but it's to show how isolated he feels from everyone else. Gojo is all alone. He has no more friends left at the school and feels complete loneliness, and his attempts at relating to younger kids are intentionally stupid and cringy. This is further highlighted when Super Senior Gojo walks you to class. All of the kids just kind of stare at him like he's above them, when really, he just wants to have friends that treat him like a regular student. When arriving at the class, Gojo has you clean the desks. This scene perfectly lures you into a kind of false sense of security and reality. In life, things develop dirt and grime. It's pretty regular where you have to just clean things up. Attentive viewers would have already figured out the surrealist world that this game is set in by the first scene, but non-attentive ones are thinking, this is just a regular world. What could go wrong? But then, the first twist happens. Gojo's quiz. Super Senior Gojo forces you to take his quiz. Nothing really out of the ordinary. At first, it seems pretty normal, if not even comedic in a way. But as you progress through the quiz, it only gets weirder and more disturbing as the questions start to get more insane. Then this happens. Complete darkness. The game makes you check the drawers before you find a notebook belonging to Super Senior Gojo. Gojo then catches you looking into the notebook. The game presents this scenario as Gojo hiding something evil contained in the notebook, but really, it's a yearbook of the year he should have graduated. But the trauma he had endured from being held back makes him scared of anyone who might potentially know his past. It's a commentary on masculinity and how men tend to hide their true feelings from others due to the fear that they may be perceived as weaker. In this case, Gojo is scared of how he might be perceived by you, the player, so he banishes you to the prison realm. Thankfully, I'm fucking cracked and I'm able to easily escape the prison realm in this sort of obby parkour-esque segment. Gojo is shocked and scared that you escaped the prison realm and panics and forces you down a maze as he chases you down. This maze is really actually just a visual metaphor for Gojo's mindset. Each path represents a year of Gojo's life in high school, with all but one containing a dead end. However, only you, the player, can actually find the exit, forcing Gojo on a path that always leads to a dead end or another year of high school. Survive Freaky Gojo legitimately contains some of the greatest writing in all of fiction. Shakespeare is literally quaking in his boots just watching it. It blows my mind. After finishing the maze, Gojo sends you once again to another realm, where you have to do some more parkour. I will criticize the gameplay design here, because I think having to do this many obby segments is frankly boring and uninteresting game design, but hey, when your writing is on the same level as a Tolkien, it doesn't really matter if you have toasting bread as your main gameplay. After clearing out the parkour segment, you are greeted by Toji, the absolute GOAT, who offers you insane power in order to defeat Gojo. After gaining the power from Toji, Gojo for the first time shows fear, or at least directly shows fear. However, this has been foreshadowed since the beginning of the game, when you chase the bus to eventually meet Gojo. Now, Gojo is the one running from you, to end up being caught by the protagonist anyways. Soon the final battle begins, and honestly, It's just perfect. Gojo's long monologue showcases everything that makes his character so interesting. The manipulation, but yet somehow honest tone to his actions. The clear trauma he's faced throughout his life. It's honestly such a beautiful character portrait, I just can't put it into words. After defeating Super Senior Gojo, he is finally able to escape the cycle of failure, and finally can move on. Move on to the afterworld, where all that is left is a car and a race course. Overall, Survive Freaky Gojo is a surrealist masterpiece that can only be described as trash. The game is actually pretty bad, if you couldn't tell. Momo tier. Now, before concluding, I just want to say that there's a lot more Jujutsu Kaisen Roblox games I could rank. However, for my own sanity, I will be done today, and maybe I'll cover more in the future. So yeah, those were the Jujutsu Kaisen Roblox games, and they're pretty much the equivalent of getting your balls stuck in a door. But to be fair, I would be psychotic if I expected good games out of the Jujutsu Kaisen Roblox community. Nah, I'm just joking around. I didn't really expect much. So really, I'm not disappointed. I'm just angry. Anyways, I gotta go pay off some taxes, and also I'm probably gonna be living on the streets for a few weeks. I'm going broke. So have a good day, everybody, and make sure to remember to like and subscribe.
Something like me. So come on, give me everything you've got. Show me the fire in your heart.
Okay, I have fallen.
You're just prolonging
I'm actually
the inevitable.
cooked.
When
He doesn't shut up!